Swami Srila Prabhupada ki.
Jaya Radha Madhav Kund Bihari Radha Madhav Kund Bihari Jaya Radha Madhav Kund Bihari Jashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Jashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Banachari Jamuna Tira Banachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kund Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Banachari Yamuna Tira Banachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kund Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kund Bihari Jaya Muspat Paramahansa Parivrajagacharya Sittareshwara Smadha Pridhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada ki Jai Ananta Kodi Vaishnava ki Jai Ramacharya Sri Haridas Thakur ki Jai Prem se kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki Jai Sri Radha Krishna Bhog Gopinath Sam Khund Radha Khund Giri Godan ki Jai Vrindavan Dham ki Jai Navadvip Dham ki Jai Ganga Mai की जाए जमुना माई की जाए गुरु द्वारका धाम की जाए स्वामी तो भक्तविंद की जाए और ग्लोरी टू द स्मृति और ग्लोरी टू द स्मृति थैंक यू वेरी मच
Me, the all-pervading Lord of the universe, in unflinching devotional service, gives up all aspirations to be promoted to the heavenly planets or to become happy in this world with wealth, children, cattle, home, or anything in relationship with the body. I take him to the other side of birth and death.
imam lokam tathaivamu atmanam ubhayanam atmanam anuji cheha jirayo pasavapriha visijya sarvan anyangscha mamevam vissatu mukham vajanti anannaya bhaktya tana mrityu ratiparaye. So, Kapil Dev is describing bhakti-yoga. Yesterday, last night, we have already discussed the previous verse that bhaktas jisamaham priya. Bhakta means who takes Krishna or the Supreme Personality of Godhead as the most dearest of everything. And Atma Sutascha Sakha Guru Suhida Daimam Ishtam. Everything. Krishna is my Guru, Krishna is my Atma, because I am part and parcel of Krishna. Mami Vangsa Jiva Bhuto. So Krishna is origin, I am part and parcel. Then Krishna is my one who wants to love Krishna as son. We have described already. Krishna is prepared to become your son because we love son. We offer respect to Guru. We offer respect to Devata. So everything should be Krishna. Jesamaham priya atma sutascha sakha, friend, just like Arjuna, he accepted Krishna as his friend. So everyone can accept Krishna in so many ways. So Savanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam Padusevanam Archanam Bandhanam Dasam Sakyam. So you can love Krishna as Sakha, as Arjuna did. And similarly, Parikshit Maharaj, he simply heard about Krishna, Sabram. These are the 9 processes. Savanam Kirtanam Vishnu, of Krishna. Krishna and Vishnu the same. Not anyone. You cannot say that I am hearing about Mr. Such and such a great politician, Savanam. No, that will not help you. Savanam Kirtanam Vishnu. Smaranam, also always thinking of me. Yoginam api sarvesam madgata antarapana sadhyavan bhajati jumam sami yuktutamo manvana bhavamad bhakta madhyajimang namaskuru. That is Savanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam, always thinking of Krishna. Simply, if you meditation, that is meditation. If you meditate about Krishna, always, then you become the first class Jew. That is said in the Bhagavad Gita, in the 6th chapter. Yoginam api sarvesam madgata antaram. So, this movement is teaching everyone always to be Krishna conscious, to become first class yogi, and take Krishna as everything. Priya, Suta, Sakha, Guru, everything. That is called bhakta. So in this way, visijja sarvananyamsya. Visijja means giving up completely. If you want a son, all right, Krishna is prepared to become your son. If you want a lover, all right, Krishna is prepared to become your lover. If you want a friend, Krishna is prepared to become your friend. Everything Krishna is prepared, and that relationship is going on in this material world. Somebody I love somebody as my son, I love somebody as my friend, I love somebody as my lover, I love somebody as my father, or in this relationship, Sakham, there is the mellows, the Sakhya bhav, Vatsalya bhav, Vatsalyam, Madhurjam, means loving platform, loving propensity. Krishna is with that. So if we want to become free from the clutches of this Janma Mrityu Jara Bhati, that is our problem. Here we have discussed many times that we as spirit soul, we are not this body. I am not this body. You are not this body. I am Brahma. Aham Brahmasmi. You are also Brahma. Or spirit soul. But I am not Parabrahma. That is mistake. Neither you are Parabrahma. There are two words in the scriptures, Brahma and Parabrahma. Atma and Paramatma. Ishara and Parameshwara. Though Mayavadis, they think there is no difference. No, there is difference. Otherwise, why the word is used Parama? So I may be Ishara, you may be Ishara, but you are not Parameshwara. You are Atma, I am Atma, but I am not Paramatma, you are not Paramatma. In this way, the Paramatma, Parameshwara, and that is Krishna. Therefore it is said, Visijja sarvan anyanscha mameva. Bhagavan said, Kapildev is also Krishna, he says, mameva, only unto me. And what is the difference between you and me? Now I am Vishyato Mukham. I am all pervading. You are not all pervading. That is the difference. You are sitting here, you are not at your home. But Krishna is here, being worshipped in this temple, but he is present in many, many millions of temples. Vishyatomukha. He is accepting devotional services from the devotee in many thousands of temples. Not only that, as Krishna said in the Bhagavad Gita, that, what is that? Forget now. Now I am becoming old and forgetting. Anyway, Krishna is Paramatma. He is present everywhere. Ishara sarvabhutanam riddeshe arjuna tishthat. That is Vishyato Mukham. He is living in everyone's heart. That is the difference between Krishna and me. Krishna and me, that is the difference. Now, home, here it is said, this Mameva Vishyato Mukham. Mameva. Krishna or Bhagavan, he says Mameva. But what is that Mameva? He is not a person like me or you. He is Vishyato Mukham. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita that this body is the field of khetra, field of activities. Idam sariram khetram iti avidhiyate. Khetra ga. And the owner of the body, or the occupier of the body, not owner. We are not actually owner of this body. Because as soon as there will be order that you vacate this body, you have to immediately vacate. Therefore we are not owner, we are occupier. This is a machine given by Krishna. Ishara sarvabhutanam riddeshe arjuna tishtati. Brahmayan sarvabhutani jantrarudhani maya. This is a jantra, machine. I am not this machine, but this machine has been given to me to move. Just like you get a car to move, especially mentioned jantra. Jantra, that's why the car is machine, but you are not the car. Suppose if you want a car to move, your father gives you a car, maybe costly or not. That depends on the father's condition or your condition. But the father or you purchase. But here it is said that because we want to move in this material world under different desires, so Krishna gives us different types of bodies. 8,400,000 different species of jantra. They are just like machine. Jantra Rurani. And that machine is made by Maya. This material energy. That is not spiritual energy. I am spiritual energy, you are spiritual energy. But this vehicle or the car or the moving machine, that is not spiritual. That is material. Jantra Rurani Maya. It is given by Maya. Prakita Kiramanani, we are in a machine made by Maya. And so long we are on this machine, the machine will be old and you will have to change it for another machine. That is going on. That is called Janma Mrityu. That is called birth and death. Otherwise, you and me, we have no birth and death. Na jayate na mriyate va kadachit. The soul or the Brahma, it does not take birth or die. Simply, we change this machine, body. Na hannate hannamane sarire. You are driving one car. If the car is broken and it is smashed, that does not mean you are smashed. You may have some accident, but you are not finished. The car may be finished. Similarly, na hannate hannamane sarire. Similarly, this body being finished, we are not finished. Tata jihantara prapti, we get another car, another body. Just like we are getting different bodies in this life. So, the question is that if I am Nitya, Sasata, my position is I never die, never take birth. So why I have been put into this condition accepting this machine? That is real problem. That is real problem. Then what is the cause? That cause is because I want to enjoy this material world. What is that material world? Here it is said, Raya Pasava Griha. Raya means wealth. Formerly, a man was considered to be wealthy. Now also it is. Dhannena dhanavam. Govaya dhanavam. If you have got many number of cows, then you are considered to be rich man, not papers. Nowadays, if you have got bunch of paper, written $1,000, but they are paper, you are dhanavan. Formally, practical, not dhanavan by the paper, by the currency note, but how many cows you possess. Because that is life, you get milk. And dhanena, if you have got food grains, then you are rich. Not by possessing some paper. No. Therefore it is said here, Raya Pasava Griha. So these are the material possessions. So long we are after this material possession, then we cannot get out of this circle of birth and death. But if we give up this material possession and you take Krishna and the Supreme Personality of Godhead and worship Him in bhakti-yoga, as it is said here, bhajanti anannaya bhakta. Anannaya bhakta. Anannaya bhakta means pure, not mixed. You should not mix bhakti with gyan and karma. That is pure. Annavilasita sunnam jnana karma dhanabhitam. Two, just like there are many bhaktas, they are not pure bhaktas. Chanting, they are also chanting. But they are aspiring after mukti. So they are not pure bhaktas. They are adulterated bhaktas. The bhakta does not want mukti. We have discussed all things. Bhakta wants nothing from the Supreme Personality of God. He simply wants to serve Him. That's all. And serve Him anukullena, not whimsically. I want to serve you as I like. No. Anukullena. Just like Arjuna did. Arjuna served Krishna not whimsically, but as Krishna desired. Krishna, Arjuna was not willing to fight. He said, no, Krishna, the other side, my friends and relatives, I cannot. That is whimsical. But when he decided, after hearing Bhagavad Gita, Karise vachanam tava, yes, I shall do what you are asking. Why? I shall kill my grandmother. That's all. That is anukul. Anukullena Krishna anusilanam bhakti richya. You cannot serve Krishna by your whims. Anukullena. Annavilasita sunnam jnana karma dhanabhritam. Anukullena Krishna anusilanam. You have to serve Krishna as He says. If I want a glass of water, you must give me a glass of water. You cannot say, Prabhupada, and milk is better than water. Why don't you take one glass of milk? That is not only. You must supply me what I want. That is only. That is favorable. I want to drink water, why should you give me milk? That is only. That is bhakti. That is ananya. You don't manufacture your own trademark of bhakti. No, that is not bhakti. It is not that sometimes people say, so-called bhaktas, they say, that I can worship the Lord in my own way. No, that you cannot. You have to, but because you have no connection with the Supreme Lord, you simply think a fiction, an idea, imagination, kalpana. The Mayavadis, they say kalpana. Brahma rupa kalpana. Brahma has no rupa, but you imagine some rupa or form. That is Maya. That is not. Krishna has got rupa. Krishna is present here with his original rupa, as it is described in the Vedic literature. Venum kannantang aravinda dalayataksam barahabatam samasitam vadasundarangam kandatva koti kamaniya visesa shobham govindam adipurusham tamam jnani. His form. Ishara parama Krishna parama. Ishara parama. We may be Ishara, you may be Ishara. That's all right. But you are not Parameshwar. I am not Parameshwar. Ishara Parama Krishna. The Parameshwar is Krishna. Paramatma is Krishna. We are not. Khetragna. Khetragna means one who knows about the Khetra. We are acting with this body. I am also acting, you are also acting, the dog is also acting, cat is also acting, the tree is also acting according to the body. But within the body, dehinasmin jathade, kaumana jovana tathadya. The owner or the or occupier of the body is within. So Krishna says, Kshetragan chapi mang vidhi. You are Kshetraga, you are owner of this body, but I am also Kshetraga. So I am Kshetraga, I am the real proprietor. You are simply occupier. You are not the proprietor. Jantra Rurani Maya. He gives you. You wanted a body like this. You have got. Now take this body. Krishna is giving all facilities to enjoy this material world. Sometimes he wants the body of a devata like Brahma, Indra, Chandra. All right. Janti deva brata devan. It is said in the Bhagavad. Janti deva brata. If you want to become devata, so you act like that, you qualify yourself, and you go there. And you'll get a body. You can get a body like Brahma, or you can get the body of this worm in this tube, as you like. Now it is. Or if you like a body like me, Krishna said, Janti madjajino pima. And if you want to get a body like Krishna, Satchidananda Vigraha, that is our body, real body, Sat Chit Ananda, then you can get it. So, our intelligence will be proved when we want to go back to home, back to our Krishna. Madhyajana, he gives you freedom, free pass. If you want to go to the demigod's planet, Janti Deva, what is that? Devajali. Pitrin Janti Pitri Brataha. Bhutani Janti Bhuteja. Madhyajino Pija. Now it is your choice. It is your choice. Where you want to go, you have to go somewhere. You can remain here in this material world. You can remain to the higher planets. Or you can go beyond these higher planets. Bhaktya Bhaktya Sanatana. Parastasmatu Bhava Anna. There is another nature. This is material nature. And there is another nature, spiritual nature. You can go there also. As you like. You are given full freedom. So here it is said, but wherever you go, it is said, Abrahma bhuvanan lokan punaravartinot. Khine punne puno mattu lokang visanti. You can go to the Sarga Loka, the heavenly planet, by your pious activities. But khine punne, when your punna, pious resultant action of pious activities will be finished, then you have to come back again. Hine punne puno mattu. But Krishna says, Jadagatyana nivartanti tadhamam paramam. If you, somewhere or other, you go to that place where I live. Krishna lives everywhere. Krishna, Ishvara Sarvabhutanam Viddesha Arjuna Tishtati. But he has got a special home. Just like the governor or the president, he can move many places, but still he has got his own place. The Raja Bhavan, like that. Similarly, Krishna's place is Goloka Vrindavan. Chintamani prakara sadmasu kalpa vrikkha lakha briti. But Goloka eva nivasati akhilatma bhuta. That is Krishna. He can live in Goloka Vrindavan. Like you see here Krishna is Goloka Vrindavan. He is enjoying the company of Vrindavaneshwari, Radharani. So Goloka eva nivasati akhilatma bhuta. That is Vishyato Mukham. Here it is said. Visijja sarvananyansha mameva Vishyato Mukham. So if you concentrate your devotion your mind, your activities by this bhakti yoga, savanam kirtana. Bhakti yoga means, first of all, to hear. Without hearing, how you can become bhakta? You must know about Krishna. If you want to make friendship with somebody or make some transaction, we have got already our relationship, eternal relationship with Krishna, because we are part and parcel of Krishna. But somewhere or other we have forgotten. Therefore, in the Chaitanya Charitamrita it is said, Anadi Bohirmukh Jeev Krishna Bhuli Gela. Somewhere or other, from long, long time, we have forgotten Krishna. Krishna Bhuli Gela. Atayv Krishna Veda Purana Karila. Therefore, Krishna has made all these Vedas and Puranas and Shastras, everything, Mahabharata. Krishna comes there. This is because when we forget, now this age is going on, Kali Yuga, forgetfulness. People are forgetting more and more Krishna. They are not interested anymore. But Krishna is interested. Krishna, because we are sons of Krishna, just like a mad son, he is no one interested in home, her father, mother. But still the father and mother is interested. That this boy has gone out of home and simply suffering. Bhutta bhutta praliyate. He is accepting one type of body and again giving it up, again accepting another body. In this way, he is traveling. Abhamma bhavana loka, all the planets, all the species of life. So, let me try to rescue him. Therefore, Krishna comes. Jada jada hi dharma saglani bhavati bharata tadatmanam sujamaham. So, we are falsely engaged in this material world, illusion. Atat diha kshetra sutata vittai janasya mohoyam. This material world, it is not our home. How we can say it is home? I am living in this body, in this home. Say for 50, 60 or 100 years. Again, get out. So how I can say it is my home? I am Nitya, I must have an eternal home. Why I am this temple? This is knowledge. This is knowledge. Unless one is not awakened to this knowledge, then he is a fool, rascal. Jashat buddhi kunapeti dhatre. One who is thinking, this is my body, this is I am. Saeva gokha. He is no better than animals. There is a dog thinking. See, if a man thinks that I am this body, then what is his position? He is no better than a dog. This should not be that. This human form of life is meant for this inquiry, athata brahma jigyasa. If I am Brahma, then what is? Brahma means eternal. So why I am busy with this bodily affairs? This is called Brahma jigyasa. And if you become very learned scholar in Vedanta and busy with this bodily affair, that is another foolishness. If you actually Vedantist, then you should be inquiring that I am eternal, why I am put into this temporary body, and on account of this body I am subjected to so many miserable conditions of material life, why I should remain in this condition, how I can get released from this condition. That is human life. That is human life. And tadvijnanatham sa gurumeva gacche. If you actually very much eager to inquire about it, then you require a guru. Tasmad gurum pravatita jignasu sreyutam. One who is inquisitive about spiritual life, about spiritual identity. Tasmad, therefore, gurum pravatita. You must seek out a bona fide guru. So, who can be better guru than Krishna? He is the original guru. Here it is stated, guru. In the previous verse, Jesam priya atma sutascha sakha guru. Guru. So you don't accept anyone guru, but accept Guru Krishna. And Krishna is instructing Bhagavad Gita as Guru. Shishyastiham sharimam prapanna. Arjun says, my dear Krishna, I am accepting as my Guru. I am your Shishya. So everyone should become like that. Accept Krishna as Guru or Krishna's representative. You can say, where is Krishna? I don't find. But Krishna's representative is there. That is also stated in Bhagavad Gita. Tad vidhi panipatena pariprasnena sevaya upadakshanti tad jnanam jnanina tattvadarshina. So, one who knows Krishna perfectly is Krishna's representative. And to know Krishna is very difficult task. No, everything is explained in the Bhagavad Gita. But if you, like a rascal, interpret in a different way, then you are not a guru, you are a guru. You are animal. You are guru so long you take Bhagavad Gita as it is. Thank you very much.
With many of these professors, but he would always encourage me to bring more. And then we would work hard to cultivate a relationship to get them to come to see Prabhupada. And then Prabhupada would just smash whatever their philosophy was or whatever their point of view was. But there were a few that Prabhupada liked, like Dr. Judah and Theodore Rozek. Prabhupada was also very nice with him. And I think that was more because they came with a devotional attitude. You know, they didn't come as if they were the great erudite scholars. When they came, they had a sense who Prabhupada was. You know, they knew they were in the presence of a holy person. And then Prabhupada would treat them differently. But if they came all arrogant and puffed up, then Srila Prabhupada would immediately say, and so, what is your philosophy? What are you thinking about this? And he would immediately challenge them, you know, and just tear them to shreds. And if you listen to any of the dialogues here, you know, you'll see that Prabhupada would go right at them and usually be very challenging. And I think Prabhupada wanted to use these interactions as ways to give the devotees, you know, the confidence not to be afraid to speak up. You would get a sense that there was kind of like a Japanese kabuki theater drama going on, and Prabhupada was more or less showing you how to do it, regardless of who their positions were, to present Krishna consciousness fearlessly, not to hold back and be overly polite. Especially true if anyone brought up meat-eating subjects. I can remember lots of conversations where Prabhupada would talk about how the cow is already giving you the equivalent of its blood in the form of the milk. What's the reason for killing the cow? Why take its blood when it's already providing you this? That theme would come up a lot. But mostly, he would always get around to talking about how do you think life came about? How was the universe created? Why do you think you're here? Do you think you're the body? How do you substantiate your sense of who you are? Changing body. Those were the most common things that he would speak about. And then he would always bring it around to talking about the Supreme Personality of Godhead, that you were part and parcel, and you can't be happy unless the part is serving the whole, and you won't be happy. He didn't treat anybody other than the way he would deal with regular devotees. Didn't matter who it was.
Now, whatever you like, you can do. Krishna never forced him to accept the teachings of Bhagavad Gita. He gave him the independence. Now, whatever you like, you can do. And he agreed. Yes, now my illusion is over. I shall act, as you say.
I came because it was Leela Shakti that was there. I don't think she was initiated yet. I wanted to hear the man that was responsible for the movement. And I wanted to see what was going on, you know? Who captured my daughter? Not that she didn't need capturing. But when we walked into the temple, that was my husband and I, the sun was coming through the window and shining on this man. He seemed to be engulfed by the sun, like the sun was purposely coming just for him. Mind you, I was not a believer at that time. My first impression was that his whole demeanor had the strength of a lion. He appeared to me that he was giving off so much energy, so much strength in this man. Yet there was a kindness to him that I felt. And he appeared so large. I was so surprised when he did stand that he was not so big. I don't remember what he even spoke about. I was mostly involved in just looking at the man. He finished his talk, and then he said, "Would there be any questions?" And of course, my hand went up. Yes, I have a question. If this movement that you speak about is so necessary, why was it so late in coming here? And I'm thinking, here, my daughter was a hippie back in Illinois, involved in drugs and whatever, you know? What took you so long if this was so important? And he said, that's a very good question. It wasn't late. You were late. And the devotees, they bought it. And he turned to them and he said, and you were all late. The devotees squelched down when he said, and you were late. You know, they thought that he had won a debate with me. Actually, mine was just an innocent question. Where were you all these years, you know? And I had hoped that we would have more conversation about this, but he went on to speak a little bit more. But I was determined to meet him again. I did come back the next time he came to town, and I requested meeting with him. He was someplace in another room. He was told who I was, and he asked my husband what he does, what kind of business he was involved in, and Sam said that he operated an antique shop in Santa Barbara, and he said, and what kind of antiques do you carry? What do you sell? And Sam explained anything that was old, which it was. And I remember Prabhupada saying, that's very interesting. And of course, he was very, very, very nice to my husband. Very nice. But we may have spent a good 30 minutes or so with him. In fact, prasadam was brought to him and he offered it to us, which I thought was so nice. His prasadam he offered to us. He was very happy that parents like ourselves were agreeable. He asked me about the other children we had, and I told him we have 2 sons, and their feelings towards their sisters involved. And he listened. He listened to everything I said. He gave me rapt attention. Whereas I would have liked to have asked him more things, he was actually interviewing us. Now that I think of it, I'm sorry I can't remember my entire conversation with him. Some of my memory has left me with this advancing age. The next birthday I have will be 87. The third time I met him, I already had started the Friends of Krishna program, where I was writing to devotees' families, and he said, Mrs. Porkash, you are doing very nice work. Very nice work. He asked me if I chanted, and I said I did. He said, but you know, you should be wearing tilak. And he pointed to my face, and he said, right there. I said, what is tilak? He called the girls over, and he said, Mrs. Forcash will wear tilak. Well, they did apply it, and I swear on everything, I did not have this until the next day when I washed the tilak, and this remained. And I tell you, I went to a dermatologist and I asked to have this removed, and they could not take it off. And it's still there. That's something.
Announcements were being made that Srila Prabhupada was concentrating on his translating work and he wanted to get a lot done, and devotees should not bother Prabhupada. Only GBCs or sannyasis could go to see Prabhupada, and the usual requests for guests and such would be minimized. So I was a small temple president in Phoenix at the time, and I had a $50 donation to give Prabhupada. Just like nothing, you know. So Rakshana was guarding Prabhupada, and I made a little pact with him to let me up the back stairs. And we talked to Shrudakirti, who was Prabhupada's servant, and he also agreed to let me in just for a minute. So it was 9:20 at night. So I was a little afraid of breaking the laws, but I just wanted to see Srila Prabhupada so much. And so Shrudakirti opened the door, and I came in behind him, and Srila Prabhupada had his hand in his bead bag and was facing away from us, looking out the back window down the alley past the temple. And Shrudakirti said, Srila Prabhupada, this devotee from Phoenix has come to see you. And Srila Prabhupada turned around, and as he slowly turned around, the fear of interrupting him and being insignificant was fairly strong, but when he turned around, he had the biggest smile on his face. And he was just radiating warmth and love from his heart and giving me a greeting like, oh, my dear son has come to see me. How kind. And I really learned from that experience that all of us are equal in Prabhupada's eyes, and whenever we have anything to offer to him, or if we have any love to give him at all, we should just do it without any rules or regulations in regards to status or standing in ISKCON or anything. We're all equal in his eyes, and he was just happy to see his lost son coming to him for shelter. It was a memorable exchange. It just with one look, Prabhupada could just pierce your heart and change your whole life in one glance. I gave him the check as I was leaving, and he said, thank you very much. And then what happened later was about 3 months later, I got a letter from India, from Prabhupada, which was surprising because I hadn't written him. And it was a thank you note for the $50 check and the donation. And he made a personal note and said something, preaching to me that pleasing the spiritual master is the way to please Krishna. And I just thought it was wonderful that he would acknowledge not only me, but also the small donation that we had given him.
That is human being. You should be inquisitive. Why this happening? Why this happening? And you should take education. That is human life. And if he does not inquire, if he does not take education, then what is the difference between him and the dog? He remains a dog. He has got this opportunity of human life. He should take advantage of understanding what is what. Not to keep himself in the dog status, simply eating, sleeping, sex life, and defending. That is the distinction between dog and human being. If he does not become inquisitive, how to control the mind? He is not even human being. And dog never inquires. The dog knows that when I bark, people become disturbed. He never asks how to control this barking habit. Because he is dog. He cannot do that.
A human being, people hate me, I do something wrong, I have to control my mind. That is human.
One time, I invited Professor Benford from the University of California, Irvine. He's a particle physicist. He had some interest on something beyond the science. And in the garden, Prabhupada's garden, in the course of discussion with Professor Benford, Prabhupada was asking that you scientists are spending so much time in studying a piece of grass. What is the color of the grass? And then you dry it and you try to see what are the components that make up this grass, then what are the molecules, the atoms. So on a piece of grass you can like volumes and volumes of books. Then Prabhupada was asking, what good is that knowledge? And Benford said, well, scientific knowledge is a different category of knowledge. Those who are pursuing scientific discipline, they get great satisfaction and a great happiness in doing these things. Science is very useful. And then Prabhupada said, you think that from bullock carts to motor cars, the aeroplanes, do you think this is advancement? And Benford said, yes, definitely, we are making progress. Prabhupada said, this is not correct, because by this type of knowledge, you are forgetting your own nature, your own spiritual nature. You are forgetting who you are and what is the purpose of our existence. So this most fundamental knowledge you are neglecting. And therefore, we are not making progress. Then Prabhupada asked him, do you believe in God? And Professor Benford said, not exactly, I am agnostic. Then Prabhupada said, oh, you're agnostic means you're doubtful. Sometimes you think that there might be God. Sometimes you think that there might not be God. That means you're ignorant. So then he said, yes. So he was not angry or he was not upset. And so in this way, Prabhupada was treating in a wonderful way. Although Prabhupada has a strong philosophical principle, but the way he treats people and the scholars, they feel very comfortable and they always had respect. But that day, that Sunday, was also the marriage day of the Tirtha. There was a huge feast. So during that conversation, one devotee brought a huge plate of all these preparations, full, to offer to Prabhupada. So what Prabhupada did, he took the whole plate and they gave it to Benford. This is for you. This is a Mahaprasadam, please take. So Professor Benford was completely amazed. I didn't even expect that. The whole place is going to come to him. And he took Swami's prasadam, one of the main preparations, this eggplant preparation. I still remember, he was so much fond of the eggplant. And then after when it gets a little dark, then Prabhupada also went upstairs. And the Sandhya Arati started. And Professor Benford said, I'd like to have a little experience about this singing. It seems very nice. So I took him inside the temple, and then he joined Arati. And then he said it was getting a little late, and so he was wanting to leave. But he said before he left, he wanted to see Prabhupada. He wanted to say goodbye. So I took him upstairs to Prabhupada's room. And on the way, there were some plates, these prasadam plates with a lot of eggplant. And Professor Benford picked again one more plate. He ate again this eggplant. Then after that, we went upstairs to see Prabhupada again. And then this time, he was so impressed by Prabhupada's dealings with him as a spiritual authority. So he said, I'd like to thank you for having me here this evening. And you are doing so much wonderful service to train these American young boys and girls learning this culture, and it is a wonderful thing. And so he was giving a tremendous appreciation to Prabhupada, and then he left.
Once going up to Prabhupada's room in Los Angeles, Bhardraj was walking into Prabhupada's room a little bit ahead of me, and Prabhupada said, where is Rukmini? And he said, oh, she's always busy doing something. And then I walked in slightly behind him, and Prabhupada saw me, and he said, yes, always stay busy, busy, busy. Otherwise, Maya will say, come and play with me. And he held out his arms like someone trying to embrace someone. He said, Maya will say, come and play with me.
Education means enlightenment. You do not know what is the final cause. A huge body is working as nature. So many planets, so many big planets like sun, moon, they are floating in the air. And who has made this arrangement? There we see every day. And everyone is speculating. It is being done like this. Another philosopher comes, he does, it is like this. Another says, it is like this. Naso nijjasya matam na bhinna. A philosopher is not a great philosopher if he does not defy the other philosopher. Is it not? So this process is going on. I defy you, you defy me, that's all. But what is the real fact? Neither you know, neither. But we write big articles. That is going. I was also a student of philosophy. My professors are all Europeans. So one professor, Dr. W.S. Arpuat, he was our professor for psychology, metaphysics. Later on he became Vice Chancellor of Calcutta University. A very nice gentleman.
Dr. Myers finds that he's chanting Hare Krishna a little in the shower now. When he takes a shower, he chants a little.
One press reporter in the Berkeley University in the beginning, he wrote his article and he read that after hearing this Hare Krishna for a few minutes, I came home chanting all the road Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. We are living beings, we are conscious. We cannot give up anything, but we are being trained up how to utilize everything for Krishna. That is Krishna. So giving some prasad.
It seemed